Hey guys, it's me again. I brought a guest today, so this is my daughter Jessica, and we were thinking that one of the things that we're going to do today, we're going to try to address real life stuff, like the things that we are faced with day to day. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about today is being single and waiting for God. And so we're going to get really raw and really gritty and tell the truth about some things. And some of these truths are not always easy to talk about, but there's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of judgy people out there, and a lot of times we make decisions in our life that we're really embarrassed about. And I know that some of you guys have probably already read my book, Joy Comes in the Morning. If you haven't read it, you can find it on Amazon. It's really cheap. It is something that I feel like God just called me to put out there. There's some truths in there. They're pretty uncomfortable truths, but truths nonetheless. And none of us are perfect. We all have our own story, our own things that we've had to deal with in our life. And Jessica is one of those people too. And so I'll say that from a mom's point of view, I've watched her go through a lot of these things. And, as a mom, you want to save your kids from stuff. And, we do a lot of praying, but in actuality, these kids, their walk is their own, and we can only do so much. And when they get to a certain age, we're not responsible for the decisions that they make anymore. They do not belong to us. And I think sometimes it's a hard lesson for us, is that, they may have been entrusted to us, but they are not ours, and we have got to allow them to find their own faith and to find their own walk. And we just have to trust that God has a plan for their lives, And so I'm going to let Jessica tell a little bit of her story about relationships and where it's brought her and her walk with the Lord, because I know she's had some struggles with that, and and I hope that she's going to feel good about putting it out there, and I hope that whoever hears it, it's going to make a difference. So here we go.
Hello again, I am Jessica. So I started out with my first relationship, and I got pregnant before I got married. I had only known him 2 weeks, and we got married because it was the right thing to do. And after we were together a little while, he cheated on me for the first time, and we worked through it, and we stayed together. And then we were together about 5 years, and we had 2 kids. And it was really hard to get that divorce. And right when we got divorced, I was really just lost. I probably can't talk about it. I was really lost and insecure, super insecure, because who was going to date me if I had 2 little kids? Thank you. And who was going to date somebody like that? And so I picked up my divorce papers, and I had a guy show up on my doorstep, and he just told me everything I needed to hear, and just really built me up and gave me that love that I was looking for, but I was looking for it in the wrong place. I was looking for it in a manly way instead of a godly way. And so I married him. He asked me every day for a year to marry him, in my defense. And he had an addiction problem, and as soon as we got married, he just twice in 2 weeks. And so he would binge. And so at that moment, I decided I couldn't let that be around my kids. And so I got divorced again. So there I was, divorced twice. And then I jumped into another relationship with someone else, and it was a good relationship. He's a good guy. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about independence, because it was a long distance relationship, And so I wasn't so scared to be alone anymore because I was forced to, but I had that comfort in someone. But I still was looking at it in a worldly way. I still was looking for validation and self-respect and everything through a man. And we ended up breaking up, and that was when I was 29. So when I turned 30, God was just like, okay, he got a hold of me. And as soon as he got a hold of me, he started changing my life. The people that I used to hang out with, I don't hang out with anymore because they were bringing me down. Anytime I tried to move closer to God, they would pull me back. And so he just started to, what's a good word, like, get rid of everybody out of my
Purging.
life. Yeah, he was purging my life. And so that was when I turned 30. It was a really hard year. And I had like 5 of my best friends were gone, like, that I don't talk to anymore. I didn't, like, I was kind of still off and on with that one guy. And at the end of the year, I ended up, it was a hard end of the year last year. It was actually last year. I'm 31 now. And I got I got hit in the face with a soccer ball and had retinal hemorrhaging, so I had to go to the doctor. And then I got the flu, and I seriously thought I was dying because I was sick for like 3 weeks. And I finally I had really bad anxiety. Like, it would be so bad sometimes I would think I was dying. So I came to my mom's house and stayed because I didn't want to be alone because, I have 2 little girls. And so one night she's just like, hey, I can't help you. You're like, it's either I take you to the hospital or you go and you talk to God. She put this oxygen reader on my finger and it read 100. So she's like, your oxygen is fine. So you're obviously able to breathe, and the anxiety just had me so I went into the back closet and I just on my face because I was like, I need you. Like, I've been a Christian my entire life, but I didn't have a relationship with him. So I'm praying and I'm like, God, I just want to know who you are. I want to give me a sign, like, let me feel you. And he said, look up. And I looked up and my Bible was sitting there. He's like, you want to get to know me? Here I am. I'm right here. I've never been anywhere else. Like, you can just open it up and start learning about me. And so that was like where my life changed, is building a relationship with the Lord, because I had looked for validation and
To fill that empty spot.
to fill that
Something
emptiness
to fill it.
in men. And so now I'm single and I don't look for it in men. I'm so happy because I'm like I opened my Bible and I started reading, and then right whenever I opened it, I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I felt overwhelmed. I was like, is this going to, like, I felt super overwhelmed. I'm like, where do I even start? Like, somebody help me. Like, I don't even know who he is. And I've known him my entire life, but I didn't have a relationship with him. And so as soon as he just started showing himself to me, and the more I read, the more I wanted to know but he just put that fire in me, and I couldn't stop. And he let me see that he's all I need. I don't need best friends. I don't need a boyfriend. I don't need any of that. All I need is God. And seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. So,
And what? And all those other things that we desire in our heart will be added to us. But first and foremost, we have to seek him.
yes.
And use him to fill those voids in our life instead of things.
Right. And the moment that I started to do that and stopped living in the world, I took this step back, and it's almost like you look at the whole world different. Like, when I look into things now, I look at it in a more Christian, godly perspective, and I'm like, that is not of God. And the moment I turned and I decided, God, use me, and I started walking in his will, I'm not going to say my life got easier because that would be a lie, but I have a joy and a peace that surpasses all understanding, because the moment that you walk towards him, towards the cross, that's whenever that's when your life starts coming together in the way that it's supposed to. Had I done this when I was 21 and married my first husband, I'd be in a whole different place, because I would have been, his will for my life would have been already going, in which he's not finished with us. He's
For sure, that's for sure. Yeah.
like, I didn't ruin my life. I've learned so much. I have a great testimony for other, single moms and women. I understand how hard it is.
How hard is it to be a single mom and trust that God is going to provide for your needs?
I think it was harder for me when I wasn't in His Word to believe that. But now that I live in His will. It's not. I say it's not hard. Like,
It's easier when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't worry. You don't have those fears.
No, He's the comforter.
You feel like He'll provide.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, He definitely provides. So,
Do you get moments where you still feel weak?
oh, yes, absolutely. Sometimes I'm like, am I ever going to meet anyone?
Yeah. And how do you deal with that? What do you tell yourself in those times?
Well, usually it's at night. I go to sleep, and I'm fine the next morning.
If you don't act on it, like at those times. No. Okay. So tell a story. So you were feeling, and I know these stories because I'm her mom. Okay. So you were feeling really weak one night, and what happened? Who did you get a text from?
Oh,
Remember that?
Wow.
So the devil has a tendency
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime that I'm feeling weak, or like I just need somebody and I'm lonely, the devil always brings somebody from the past that is no good, and they'll always say, "Hey, what's up? Like, just shoot me a text. Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh no, devil, not today," because the whole trick is you have to, think about everything you're thinking about. And so you have to hold every thought captive. And whenever it's not a godly thought and you're not feeling at peace about it, you need to cast it away. And so when I'm feeling those weak and feelings, I cast them away. I'm like, you know what? No, you are not. You're not lonely.
You're a
liar. Yeah.
That's right. The devil's a liar.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you had advice for single moms out there who are struggling and kind of wondering the same things that you wonder, what would be your advice to someone that is in the same place as you? But maybe doesn't know the Lord like you know the Lord now.
I would definitely say you need to get a relationship with the Lord, because no man will ever fulfill you if you don't have that relationship with the Lord. Like, He is everything. Like, you don't need a person. Like, you just do not. You need Him. That is the only person you need. And having that relationship with Him is going to help every relationship after. So it helps your relationships with your friends, with your parents, with your next husband. If you're living a godly, purposeful life, through Him, everything else is going to work out. He says that everything
That's
works
right.
out for the great, or
Everything. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. God works out that the things that He wants for us are good things.
Yeah.
To give us a purpose and hope. And
Yeah.
that's what God says in His Word. And I think, as a mom, it's difficult, like I said earlier, to watch your kids struggle. But, me backing away from her and allowing God to go to work in her and not trying to be the Holy Spirit for her, which is something that we do as parents. And I did it too. A lot, huh? Yeah.
She's been good the last year.
Yeah, I've been way better the last year, but that's because God is working in me. But I say to the moms out there who are seeing this, and I know that you have children, and sometimes those relationships, absolutely, yes.
And I also want, so whenever I became single from my ex-husband, I had this mental block about being single. I was like, if I'm single, that means I'm not cool, I'm not pretty,
Unworthy of a man.
so unworthy. Yes, I thought those things. I I didn't, if someone said, hey, are you single? I would say no, because I was embarrassed to be single. Now,
Because that means I'm not good enough.
yeah, because that means somebody doesn't love me because I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not any of these things. And I just, yes, like that was really big for me because I jumped from a relationship to a relationship. Now, if someone asks me if I'm single, I'm like, yes, absolutely. I love being single. This is who I am. And one day, when the time is right, God is going to bring me that guy I've been praying for, because that is what I will not settle for anything less than what He has promised me. And I'm doing it right this time. Like, no more, like, I will not have premarital sex. I will not do any of that stuff because I want to honor Him. And to honor Him, I'm going to do as good as I can, you know, to His word. Yeah, because I want it to be blessed. I want to have a marriage that will last for the rest of my life.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, as a mom, it's amazing to hear those words, and I got to say that I'm super proud of where she's been, and, you know, of the way that she's handled this, and I'm so grateful that God has done these amazing things in her life. She's pretty amazing. Let me tell you, single mom, she doesn't receive any help from us. You know, she's stood on her own and has her own business and has worked hard, and it's not always easy with those two little girls, but she's been a real trooper about it. And, you know, as a mom, I try really hard not to bail her out or, you know, allowing her to be responsible for herself so that she can not depend on me for to fulfill her needs, but depend on God to fulfill them, you know. And I think sometimes we do that with our kids. You know, we see them getting in a bind, and it's like, oh, here, let me help you get out of that. Well, it's harder sometimes to let them be in that place and to trust God with them than it is to bail them out of that. And so, you know, I'm grateful that God has answered my prayers in that, and for her, and excited to see her continue in this walk. And I love you, honey. I think you're amazing. So I hope that, you know, we're kind of putting it all out there for everybody, and I hope that us doing that truly, truly makes a difference in, you know, maybe some of the things that you're dealing with. And, you know, we're all broken. You know, we can all look amazing from the outside. You can dress up and be cute and, you know, fix your hair and wear fancy jewelry and, you know, drive a big dually truck or a Freightliner and pull a Bloomer trailer around. But I'm going to tell you, what's happened on the inside can be very different from what people see on the outside. So, you know, we hope that this has helped. And if it has, leave us a neat little note. If you want prayer or have Bibles, I've told you guys before, I have plenty of Bibles. If anybody needs a Bible and you want to start that walk, do it. Nothing's stopping you but you. Oh, one more thing.
All the single moms can reach out to me.
Yeah.
Support system.
That's what we need. That's what we need today. We need people that aren't afraid to say, you know what? I've been broken too. I'm still broken. God is still working on me. I am a work in progress. He is not done with me. But I can tell you, I want to be 1% better tomorrow than I am today.
Yes.
And in 100 days, if you get 1% better, you're 100% better. And so, you know, we'll never perfect our walk until we go home to be with the Lord. That's when the perfection will come in our life. But, you know, until then, you know, get 1% better every day. And reach out to someone else, right? Mm-hmm. Don't be ashamed of your story. Our story makes us who we are. Don't be ashamed of it. Turn away from sin, absolutely. But don't be ashamed to let people know that, you know what, you know where they are, and you've had your struggles too. And I think that we don't do enough of that. We try to sweep it under the rug or put a little bit of makeup on it and cover up those scars, you know, and put a big smile on our face and wear our little cross earrings and our cross necklace and,
Well,
you know, proclaim all kinds of things while on the inside we're still dying, you know, and
all that stuff in the dark will come to light.
oh,
So you have to work through it, and it's very important to get it out, because if you want to move on with your life, you have to come to terms with everything, because that's what happened to me. Like, God brought it all out, and He said, here, like, He worked on relationships with me. He just put it all out there, and the shame and all that guilt and stuff you're feeling, that is not of the Lord. That is from the devil, and he wants to keep you and hold you down. And that is his thing. He wants you to feel unworthy. You are so worthy. You're worthy of it.
God loves you.
Yes, God loves you. You have the love of the greatest person that will ever be.
existed.
Yeah. And so you are the daughter of the Most High God. That is something to be proud of. You put on His armor personally, His armor. He gave it to you to put on. Clothe yourself. Be strong. Yep.
Okay, guys, be blessed today. Thanks for listening to us. Our prayer for you is that God would just put His hand on you, lift you up out of whatever it is that you're in, and that just keep a hedge of protection around you. So go have an amazing, blessed day and go be someone's blessing. See ya.
Bye.